Good morning and welcome to another edition of Carpod Church as the lights of Bray twinkle beautifully this morning and the seas look calm. Certainly from a distance they also look cold, but also a little nearer to home we have the beautiful Christmas lights of a nearby garden. And as we gather this morning for our Carpod Church, I want to welcome you and I want to thank you for joining us yet again in this adventure as we look at what it means to be church in a very different time, in a very difficult time for many. And the excitement and the preparation for Christmas grows every day, and I know many are looking forward to it and many are a bit nervous about it too. I wanted us to think a little bit about, well, not just a wooden spoon. You can use this to make cakes or Christmas puddings. But when I was growing up, the wooden spoon was a threat. And if you were being naughty, if you were taking things a little too far, they'd say, no, don't make me go and get the wooden spoon. Don't be bold. Now, it's funny and it's amazing to me often how words have different meanings. Certainly growing up when we were told not to be bold, that meant don't be naughty. But there's another meaning to the word bold, and it actually means to be brave and to be strong and to be courageous. And that's certainly a word I think we need a lot of at this time. I'm just very conscious as we've been reflecting on Peter and John in prison, and as we've been reflecting on them being on trial, that it was quite a scary time, not just for them, but for the other believers. A lot of the other believers had just joined this new emerging church. And it must have been quite frightening to realise, we might be arrested, we might even be killed. And so when Peter and John are returned to them, there's great delight and there's great excitement, but there's also a time of prayer. And it's a very powerful prayer. If you look at Acts 4, you can read this prayer, and it really captures the desire of the early Christians to be bold, to be courageous. They ask that God will give them strength, no matter what happens in a day, no matter what happens to them, to be bold to tell others about Jesus, to be bold to tell others about love and hope and joy and all the things that people in that time needed to hear. And of course, these are words that we need to hear. This can be a tough time the next couple of weeks for some people. It's a very exciting time, of course, as well. But it can be a tough time. And sometimes we need to sort of stop for a moment and be brave and think, you know what? There's things I can't change. There's things I can't affect. All I can do is ride through them and work through them. But the wonderful thing is we don't go through these days alone. And I know I say this, and somebody rightly commented recently that the message at the moment is constantly, you are not alone. And that's a wonderful message, and it's a much needed one. In a time of isolation and loneliness, a time of anxiety and fear, it can feel like we're not surrounded by people, that they're so distant. Even if we're in a room full of people, it can feel like we're on our own, and it can feel like we're not able to cope, and that's okay. Nobody really should feel they have to be able to cope. All of us need God's help to be bold, to be strong, and to be courageous. Have a good day.